Welcome everyone. In this video I wanted to show it to the 7 rapid games that were played by WGM Dina Belenkaya in Naroditsky Memorial. So I will just cover the rapid games, and the first game she played against Ponomaryov Rushal Ponomaryov. He was the FIDE world champion in the year 2002, and he was also the same age like Gukesh, when he became the world champion. In 2000 years, you will see there's a splits between a world champion as well as a FIDE world champion. It's like that one. So later on it's become merged. So, okay, now let's jump into the game. So Dina with the white pieces, she played the move d4, d5, pawn to c4, pawn to e6, simple queen's gambit decline stuff, so QGD. And after the move knight to c3, black played the move bishop to b4. Now this is like he's just mixing it out, the Nimzo Indian Ragozin kind of stuffs with the QGD, pawn takes, and here queen to b3. Simple, just attacking on this bishop, pawn to c5, defending it, bishop to d2. Now this bishop move, it's a little bit of a dubious move. In this position she should go for the move pawn takes here, and after that one there's a knight to c6, pawn to a3, attacking on the bishop, queen to a5. Of course bishop pawn cannot take the bishop, then the queen take the rook, knight to f3, pawn to d4, rook to b1, and that's how this game goes on. But she played the move bishop to d2. See, it's not like that she don't know the openings. Okay, she just wanted to play something which just drag her opponent out from the opening preparations. That's it. Knight to f6, pawn takes, knight to c6. Of course knight is just defending the bishop, pawn to e3. This is a slightly dubious little move. Over here she should play the move pawn to a3, which forced the bishop not to take it, because if the bishop takes c3, then the bishop takes c3, of course the white position gets better. So bishop takes c5, knight to f3, and that's how the game should continue. But here she played the move pawn to e3, and his opponent made a mistake with the move castle. Now in this position black has an amazing move. If you want, I can just flip the board, just find out the best move with the black pieces in this position. The idea here out is, over here you will not go for the castle, which looks obvious move. The black should play here, not castle. The move is d4. Now of course this pawn is attacking, and if it's a pawn takes, knight takes, attacking on the queen. Now queen cannot take this bishop because the knight c2, it's a fork and wins the queen. So after that one, the best move is bishop to b5 check. There is bishop to d7 will come, bishop takes d7, queen takes d7, and the best move is queen just move back, and after that one queen to e6 check. Once again the queen cannot move to e2 anything, so bishop to e3, and here black will go for the long castle. So of course it's a good advantage for a black in this position, but Rushal he played the move castling, and maybe she is the one who see this idea that a d4 will come in the future, so she just played a knight to f3 and just defended. Bishop takes c5, bishop to e2. Now black played the move pawn to d4, but that's nothing. d4, e takes d4, knight takes d4. This knight takes d4, bishop takes, and here I think she should go for the move short castling, which is good one, but she played long castle, which is a mistake. Bishop to c6, bishop to e6, I'm sorry, the bishop is attacking on a queen, queen to a4, queen to b6, And now you will realize that this knight cannot move because of the queen takes this one. And over here she made the mistake by playing the move king to b1. In this position she should go for the move queen to b5, just offering an exchange of the queen. Okay, because this queen, as you can see, this knight, the c3 knight cannot move from here because this is mate. So queen to b5, just try to exchange the queens and that's it, the position will be fine. But king to b1, knight to e4. Now she played knight to b5. And over here, as you can see, there is a knight takes f2 can be possible with a fork. But Rushal, he go for the best, that is takes check, rook takes, bishop takes f2, rook to d6 attacking on the queen, queen to e3. Now this bishop is also hanging, so bishop to f3. This is okay. No, rather than bishop to f3, maybe bishop something like g4 or something, just for the exchange, that will be fine. Bishop to f3. Now you find the continuation what black played. Bishop to f5 check. Now the king has to move on a1, rook a to c8. Simple idea that back rank mate, after the move rook takes, as a queen takes, so she played the move rook to d1, rook to c5. What is the idea? He just wanted to maybe stack up the rooks and delivers the mate. Knight to d4, attacking on the bishop, so bishop just goes back. Knight to b3. Now this knight is attacking on the rook as well as this knight is controlling the c1. So amazing defense move she found, that move the knight on d1 and then b3. Rook to c7. Still, like, you just wanted to but here rook to d8, and like it's an expectation that maybe the rook takes, maybe something gonna happen, but bishop to h4, just attacking on the rook. Rook takes, king takes, and you can see that how amazingly he is defending his back rank, that bishop is controlling it, that you cannot do. Queen to d6 check, queen to e7, queen to d4, just simply attacking on the a7 pawn, pawn to b6, queen to d5, bishop to f6. Now still you can see the bishop's eyes is on the white's king. Rook to d1. Now there can be a threat of a mate, something. So rook to c8, queen to b5. She made this move which in the time pressure she just only have the under 1 minute of the time. So she just made in the time pressure, but in this position the best move is g4 g5. That's the best she should play. But okay, after the move back, there's a bishop to b5, and then rook to e5. Simple, just attacking for the win. Check. King to g8. Knight to d2. Queen takes h2. Over here it's a mistake. In this position the best move you just play the simple rook to c2, which is increasing the pressure on this knight as well as on the mating threat, but okay, it's fine. Knight to e4, attacking on the bishop, so queen to e5 against his back. Knight takes f6, queen takes f6, and over here the black also knows that he is winning, so why I will just spend the time and complicate the position. Just calmly just play, make the moves. It doesn't matter that is it accurate moves or not. Pawn to a3, bishop to f5, bishop to d5, bishop to e6, bishop to e4, pawn to g6. As you can see, like he just attacking, just defending. So black somewhere he don't wanted to rush for the typical moves. He just knows that, see, I'm winning right in the position, just hold the position, as well as she is in a time pressure, so let her, fight her own things. Queen to e5, attacking on the bishop, bishop to f3, queen to c5, and here she played the final queen to h6, and after that when queen to c4, that's it, it's over. So over here, after the move queen to c4, she just resigned the game. So this is the first game. Now let's move to the second one. She was playing with the black pieces in this game. She played with the Lendrick John, and she was handling black pieces. So it is e4, c6, d4, d5. It's a Caro-Kann defense. E takes d5, c takes d5, and pawn to c4. This is called Panov attack. Panov both winning attack. Lot of people calls. Knight to f6, defending the d5. Of course, she cannot go for the takes because then the bishop will active in this position. Knight to c3, pawn to e6. In this position, the new moves just comes into the picture, that is g6, just sacrificing a pawn is like that one. But knight to c6 and e6 still are the main continuations. Knight to f3. Lot of people will question that why he just go for the move pawn to e6 before developing this bishop. Always remember, there's a thumb rule in the game of chess that if the c pawn is gone and the queen can jump over here with a b3 or c4 in this diagonal, then it is a good thing to keep the bishop over here, and maybe you will develop with a move b7, the bishop to b7. It's kind of like the b6, bishop to b7. It's like that one. Well, e6, knight to f3, bishop to e7, capture, knight capture, bishop to d3. There's castle, pawn to h6, logical move, simple. She don't want any kind of a bishop takes kind of activities. Rook to e1, knight to c6, pawn to a3. There's no jumps with the strong bishop is there. So bishop to f6, increasing the pressure, bishop to c2, defending it, bishop to e7. Over here, Dina should play the move knight d to e7. Over here it's like that one, knight d to e7. And what is the idea behind it? Maybe the knight to f and increasing the pressure on this pawn. So and after the move knight d to e7, if there is queen to d3, which looks dangerous, but simple knight to g6, and that's it. It can be defended, but okay, fine. Bishop to e7, queen to d3, and this is the reason probably she played the bishop retreated back, so that when the queen will come, she can insert the move f5. Knight takes, e takes. Of course that this is a backward pawn, so like the takes is fine, because if this takes is not there, then the bishop is holding back, that he cannot develop it. So bishop to f4, once again the bishop to f6, knight to e5, understandable move, that's gonna join, knight to e7, rook to e1, bishop to d7, bishop to b2, rook to e8, rook to e2, pawn to a6, pawn to a4. Like over the a6 move, the threat is here is simple, it's a skewer, so a4. In this position, I think we should go for the move like queen to g3 rather than to play the a4, but okay, it's fine, it's a rapid game. So knight to c6, knight takes c6. This is I think it's not a good move. The point over here is that your knight is strong on this e5 square, so while exchanging, maybe like f4 can be considered, but yeah, after f4 white will think that maybe my bishop will get blocked, and if you put this position on a computer, the computer will say that go for the move g4, amazing move. But okay, like go for the move g4. And what is the idea behind, like if he just takes, then the queen takes, it's a mate, okay, so he cannot take this one. So for example, if he takes it, then a pawn takes is here, So it's like that. But knight takes, b takes, so which is good for white actually. Sorry, black. Rook d to e1, rook takes e2, rook takes e2, queen to b6, increasing the pressure on this pawn. Bishop to c3. Now as you can see, the bishop is also king to f7. Maybe the idea is the simple rook to e8, pawn to h3, pawn to g6, queen moves back attacking on this h6 pawn, bishop to g5 attacking on a queen, queen move to d3, rook to e8. Okay, like in this position you will say, why she just played that inaccurate or the dubious move. Okay, once again, the same phenomena here is applicable like in the previous game. In the previous game, Rushal has the advantage, so he's like just is holding the position and just playing the game. So same thing, Dina over here, she had 3 minutes in her clock, where the opponent has only 35 seconds. So it's just like, okay, let them make the moves which is looks obvious, okay, which is not backed by the any kind of a calculations or anything. Just play the simple obvious moves and let the white fight his own issues. Rook takes, bishop takes, pawn to g4. Now of course the pawn cannot take it because of this capture. So bishop to d7, queen to f3, queen to d8, takes, g takes, bishop takes, and over here king moves is not the good, like maybe the bishop takes, queen takes, and then king to g7 makes more sense. But as I told you, like, okay, here white just only have a 9 seconds. It's like, okay, he just resolve his own issue. Let's just make obvious moves and just see what happens. King to g7, bishop takes, queen to g3, king to f7. Now of course the queen g3's threat is the move pawn to f4, so we'll just stop it. King to g2, bishop to f6, queen to g4. Now what is the idea behind queen to g4? The point is, when you are in the time pressure, you just exchange the queens, which reduce the threat in the position, because queen is the one who can attack the multiple and the strongest piece on the board, multiple attacks you will get. So that is the reason when you are in the time pressure, the simple logic is like go for the exchanges. Now okay, computer will say this is mistake, this is error, but humans, when they play, they always not rely on a calculations, they rely on some of the principles, some of the theories. Okay, the human psychology is like that one. So here she's like, no, I will not play it. So in this position, the best move is just a capture here. See, queen takes g4, h takes g4, bishop to g5. Now of course, with the computer perspective and when you are analyzing the game, when you have a lot of time, that is okay, it's fine, you can just find out, you can scrutinize this move is error, that move is error, here is error, there is error. But when a human being is playing on a game over the board or maybe on a computer with a certain given time, that time these things it's not easy to find, So why she played the move queen to e7 rather than the capture? Because opponent is in a time pressure. So when you are in the time pressure, you will offer the exchange of the queen. And the same thing when your opponent is in the time pressure and when he or she will offer to you, you will deny it. d2, bishop to d2, queen to a7. Now the simple attacking on this pawn, bishop to e3, queen to b7, bishop takes h6, queen takes, and after the move queen to b2, black wins in this game because opponent times up. See, I told you. So when we will have a lot of time, like this game, she just only have 10 minutes plus 5 second increment, and to analyze this game, I have an hour. So definitely, of course, I will find a better moves which she unable to get in the game. But that's not the point. So next game we will go with, she played with the white pieces in Heman Mark. And she started the move d4, d5, c4, e6, again the same QGD, knight to c3, and here his opponent played the move knight to f6, is takes, bishop to g5, bishop to e7, and the move is e3, h6, bishop to f4. Okay, the another move is the white can play, I'm sorry, that is move bishop to h4, and over here maybe she is planning to play the move bishop to d3 or knight f to e2, you know, the Carlsbad structure, maybe. Okay, now after the move bishop to f4, bishop to d6, and here she made a move that is bishop to d3, which is like maybe I will say it's a blunder or maybe an inaccurate move. This is the point, like when after the move h6, you will play the move bishop to h4, so that the bishop d6 will not offer an exchange, the first thing, and you are maintaining the pin. And when the bishop f4 comes, bishop to d6 is offering an exchange. In this position, the best move what white should play, white either can go for the move bishop takes d6, which is the best move, or white can go back with the move bishop to g3 and hold the structure. But after the move bishop to d3, bishop takes f4, exclamation mark move, e takes, only move, check, queen to e2, queen takes e2, and knight g2. Now what is the point of exchanging the queen is so early? In this kind of a structure, generally black face the trouble with the move this bishop, this light square bishop. So after that one, he just go for the move castle, king to d2. Now why she did not go for the castle? Again, the thumb rule comes that when the queens get exchanged, you no need to castle, like you can keep your king in the center and you can play. So simple. What is the idea behind king to d2? That now my rooks are connected. Like what is the point of castling? To rooks get connected and my king safety. But when queens gets off, my king is certainly getting more protection. First point. Now I will just bring my king, and in the end game the king should be in the center, so that's why. Okay, so after the queen swap, the another point that now the game is certainly or gradually just shifting towards the end game. Knight to c6, knight to b5, attacking on the c6, c7, knight to e8, and in this position she played the move rook h to e1. But here the best move is rook to c1. What is the point of a rook to c1? The point behind in this move that now this knight, the c6 knight, cannot go away because the c7 pawns is hangs, and if there is, for example, the a3 will come, then the move is knight to b3, and when now white is successfully created some loop over here, will say that, for example, there's knight to f6, right, because this pawn is under attack. Now the pawn to h3. Again, the problem is what this light square bishop we will not allow to develop. What is the point? Like maybe this bishop will come here, and after the move f3, maybe we'll just go back. Maybe we'll just go back. Okay, go back or just offer an exchange. Okay, in the cost of some minute pawn structure damage, the strong bishop of white has been exchanged. So that is a continuation she should try. And after the move rook to move here, bishop to d7, and here the cunning move she has to find out is a move pawn to f5. Just play the move pawn to f5, which stops the bishop e6 option as well. And after the move rook to d3, g4 is the move. But okay, she just played this move, bishop to d7, pawn to f3. So you see, like, of course she know that idea, but unable to execute properly. Okay, knight to b4, attacking on the bishop, knight to c3, bishop takes, king takes, pawn to c6, and now as you can see, the whole c file which was open for white, it is now closed. g4, pawn to g6, knight to g3, knight to g7, pawn to h3, knight to e6, and here again she made an error with the move knight g to e2. The point is, okay, after the move knight to e6, this knight is attacking on a f4 pawn, and after this move black played the move pawn to f5. So to stop this one, white should play the move knight c to e2, which defend this pawn, as well as there is no f5 move will be possible, because after the move f5 you can go for the move pawn takes and rook takes cannot come. That is a point. But after the move knight back, there's f5, rook to f1, rook to f7, knight to d1, pawn to c5, again there's takes, bishop check, king to d2, bishop takes e2, king takes e2, and knight takes f4, she loses the pawn. King to d2, there's rook to e8, rook to f2, of course there's a check is coming, so now this knight takes h3, again another pawn she lost, rook to h2, knight moves here, and rook takes h6, king to g7, rook h1, knight takes f3, check, king to c3, f takes, and as you can see that now it's not possible to hold the positions. So knight to f3, pawn to g3, attacking, knight to h3, rook to e3, check, king to b4, pawn to g2, attacking on the rook, and here rook h to d1, attacking on this one, knight to e5, and he played the move knight to g1, and now the game is done. Now it's a check, king to b5, there's knight to c6, and how you will stop this mate. So simple. Still she knows there is a mate, but still she just played the rook takes d5 and simple rook to b4, it's mate. Okay, error happens, we are all humans, so nobody's perfect. And see, in the rapid games as compared to the classical games, you will see the more error, inaccurate moves, the dubious moves you will find. And if you will go to the blitz, you will see more errors, mistakes, blunders you will find as compared to the rapid games, and hyper bullet or bullet out of the syllabus basically. So it is like that one, the less time it has, so the errors, inaccurate moves will comes into the picture, so there's nothing wrong with it. The next move, next game she played with the Helen Mark. This is a fourth round she is playing. Is d4. With the black pieces she played the move d5. There's knight to f3, knight to f6, and then a3. I don't know. Bishop to f5, and her opponent played the move rook to g1. Okay, see, maybe in the first game, like how we seen that a bishop to d2 she played, and maybe for the sake of surprise to her opponent, and over here the mark is like, okay, now I will surprise to you, Dina, with the move rook to g1. Rook to g1, the idea is pretty clear. Maybe like h3, h4, h3, g4 gonna come, but h5, just stop everything. h3, and here she played c5, the very powerful move she started playing in this positions. And now in this one, the best move is the pawn takes. Okay, pawn takes is the best, or maybe the e3 is a good one, maybe knight to c3, but she just played the move bishop to f4, bishop to f4, knight to c6. And in this position, like, why bishop is not good here, okay, in this one. So it looks like it's good for nothing, because of course the c file is available for the rook, so the rook will go to the c8. So it's kind of like a good for nothing bishop. Pawn to e3, pawn to e6, knight to e5, and here queen to b6. Very powerful move, this attacking on this pawn. And in this position, maybe like g4 makes more sense, but rook to a2, like with the move you can see like what move you are playing, like what you are doing with this move, like rook to a2, like seriously. Pawn takes, knight takes c6, queen takes c6. Now this queen is attacking here, b4, d takes, and f takes. With the point you can see now this king cannot castle both the sides, because rook to g1 and rook to a2, the two moves which he played, it didn't go. So rook to c8, the simple threat is bishop takes c2, bishop to d3, defend it, and Dina is like, okay, knight to e4, g4 finally played, and is like, okay, capture, capture, bishop to g6, defend the bishop, queen to e2, pawn to a6. Now, again, the queen to e2, the threat, as you can see, it's a simple bishop to b5, which was pinning the queen. So a6, b5. Of course, again, this capture is not possible because simple bishop takes and it's a pin. So Dina is like, okay. And now knight to d2. Why? Simple, knight to c3, it's a double attack. Rook to b2, capture, king capture, bishop takes check, c takes check, and bishop takes a3 attacking. And after the move rook to b3, simple, rook just goes back to d6. Over here he just resigned the game. Like now you will ask, like, why he gives the free queen, something like that one. And maybe he knows that my position is already dead, so it's like, let's play anything, who cares, it's like that. Fifth game, she played against Rachel's Stewart with the white pieces. Is d4, d5, there's a c4, c takes, knight to f3. In the queen's gambit accepted variation, so knight to f3, knight to f6, pawn to e3, pawn to e6, pawn takes c4, bishop to e7, queen to e2. Now in this position, if you just see, the top moves is like knight to c3, maybe the move pawn to a3, which stops the bishop moves, and the queen to f, or maybe the castling also, but queen to e2, just drag his opponent out. And the point here is, after the move c5, when this pawn takes and pawn takes will have, after the castle there is no exchange, after the capture there is no exchange, so the rook will come to the d1 and attack on the queen. So logical idea. Okay, castle, rook to d1, right? C takes d4, knight takes d4, of course, because after the move pawn takes, it's become isolate pawn. So queen to b6, keeping an eye over here. So if the bishop will move, we will just capture. Knight to d2, pawn to e5, attacking on the knight. Knight 4 to f3, pawn to e4, attacking on the knight. Knight to move back, and now finally bishop to g4. f3. In this position, you can go for the move like queen to f1 also, but that is a bad move. The f3 is the best move in this position. f3, bishop even can go back to the h4 as well, but okay, this takes, g takes, of course. Bishop goes back. Now king to h1. Why she played the king to h1? That maybe a lot of people will say, "Arey, you should play the move knight to b3, knight to b3. Then your bishop can be developed and all of this." Again, what is the logic? The king goes to the h1, and now the rook will go to the g1 and attack on the open g file. Okay. So lot of times the human they find the moves. It's not based on a complete calculation and the theory. It's just based on the logics. King to h1, knight to c6, offering an exchange, knight 2 to b3. So it's like a knight takes and a takes. Knight to e5, rook to g1. That's a simple point of that move. Rook to c8, rook a to c8, attacking on this bishop now. Bishop goes to d3, knight takes d3. Of course, this bishop is pretty strong, so we cannot keep it over the board. And somewhere it is keeping an eye on h7. So queen takes, rook f to d8, and now the bishop can move. There is some kind of a discovered attack can be possible. So queen to e2. Now again, as you can see that maybe if you will put the same position on a computer will say that bishop to d2 you can play, pawn to e4 you can play, but that's not how you think. Like you see over here in the future, maybe the discovered attack can be possible. So just remove the piece, that's it. Knight to d5, good move. Pawn to e4. See, she played the same move order. Okay, she played the same thing like a e5 and all, but with a safety. Knight to b4, bishop to e3, queen to a6, offering an exchange. Now in this position, the best move is she should go for that is a takes. This takes, the position is fine, it's equal. But initiative, queen to g2, g6 because there's some mating thread. Pawn to a3, attacking on the knight, knight to c6. Now over here also, other than to play knight to c6, she should go for the move like knight to d3. But okay, fine. Knight to c6, rook a to d1, knight takes, bishop to f6. That's a logical move, that bishop to f6 is just controlling this diagonal, so there will be no mates or anything. And here she made a blunder by playing the move bishop to g5. You see the point that first the queen was on the d file, right? She moved the queen away because of any kind of a discovered attack. Now, after the move bishop to g5, as you can see that now the knight only have the one defender, okay, and here black played the move bishop to a4, the exclamation mark move. The point is just remove this rook, okay, and then the bishop will win it, the knight will win it. And as you can see, after the move bishop moves, this rook and a bishop, they both are attacking. So she tried her best, b3, but rook takes. And after the move takes, over here he go for the move, the rook takes a4, but here the rook takes d1, rook takes d1, and queen takes a4. That is also fine. The point here is, like for example, this is takes, and here it's takes, and simple this capture here. The bishop cannot take it because of the queen takes d1. That's why. The point here is that when you have two rooks and a queen, and opponent also has the same, the position is easy to hold. So what you have to do, you have to exchange one pair of the rook and keep the second pair. And maybe you can go for the queen exchange also and drag the game into the rook endgame, the single rook endgame, and then you will see the advantage of that one. This was I learned by I just watched one of the video, I think Yasa Sarvan's video, if I'm not wrong, and in that one he shown the game of Mikhail Botvinnik versus Petrosian Tigran. The Petrosian, he was playing with the white pieces. So Petrosian versus Mikhail Botvinnik in their world championship match. So Petrosian, he used that idea. I think in Akobian's video in the St. Louis chess channel, that video I watched a long time back. In that one, it's explained. Okay, rook takes, and now that this pawn is also getting to fall. Bishop to f4, rook takes a3, rook to d6. Now it's simple, it looks like the double attack is here, but rook to c6, queen to d2. Now find out the final blow of this position. Capture. Of course, the queen capture is the point. But if, see once again, if I will take with the queen will take, bishop will take, the position will be liquidate, right? And she go for the move bishop takes. And here the simple rook to d3, it's a double attack. And in this position, she resigned the game. Because now let's move the queen and bishop lost, so dead. Fifth game. She played with the black pieces against Oberoi Shelev. d4, there's d5, knight to c3, knight to f6, bishop to f4. This is called a Jobava London, a rapport Jobava system. Pawn to e6, pawn to e3, bishop to d6, just exchanging the strong bishop, queen to f3, pawn to a6 to stop the move, any kind of a bishop to b5, and she's saying that maybe the b5, b4 in the future because the knight is on the square. Pawn to g4, h6 stop the move, h4, and here she played the move bishop to b4. In this position, what she should try is the bishop takes f4, and of course what move he will play, like maybe bishop takes, queen takes, and then the simple queen to d6, just offering an exchange, and after takes and takes, position is all good. And if there is pawn to g5 attack, then simple h takes, because h takes is not possible, the rook is open. But okay, she go for the move bishop to b4, pinning the knight, and the point now maybe she wants to increase the pressure because there is no queen as well as no bishop, it's over there. Knight to e2, knight to e4, pawn to a3, attacking on a bishop. So bishop takes c3, knight takes c3, knight takes c3, b takes c3, just destroy the structure, pawn structure. We're over here, as you can see, there is a double pawns. Pawn to c5. Now if there is pawn takes, now it's done, it's over, So bishop to g2. In this position, maybe the bishop to queen to g3 makes more sense, or maybe the move bishop pawn to g5. The idea is over here is after the move g5, there's a takes, and now he can go for the move pawn takes because the rook takes, the queen is there. There's no need to worry about it. But okay, bishop to g2, maybe he's planning for the castling. Knight to c6, queen to g3, queen to a5, attacking on this pawn, king to d2. Now here is what move you will see. Like at the first glance, it looks like that you are losing this pawn, and why you're letting your castling go, because the queen is on the board, so you need to castle. But king to d2, it's fine, it's okay move. Bishop to d7. So this is chess, like sometimes the move which is logical in one position, in another position it's wrong move, it's a blunder, right? Bishop to c7. Bishop to c7 is not a move. He should play for the move rook a to b1. It makes more point. Like for example, rook to a to b1, if in the cost of a3, if the queen takes a3 will go, then the rook takes b7 will come. So okay, bishop here attacking, queen to a4, pawn takes, knight to a5, again then knight wants to jump here, so bishop to f1, rook to c8, attacking on a bishop, and in this position he played the move queen to f4. Like, why you are exchanging your pieces when you are up? So always remember there's another thumb rule that when you are in the attacking mode, you can clearly see that my pieces are better than my opponent's pieces. The why you are going for an exchange, keep the pieces and especially the queen. But again, the psychology comes that, hey, listen, I did not castle, okay? And the queen is active, the queen is on the board, okay? Let the exchange the queens, then the position will be calm. And queen to f4, and Dina over here, she made the amazing move, capture it. Now the question is why? Because she is down in the position, so let's just exchange the position, let's exchange the pieces, so it's better for her. And that's rook takes c5. Now this position is slightly good for the black. Bishop to d3, pawn to f6. Of course, why she played the pawn move? Because to counter this two pawns push. Pawn push, it's not a good one, but okay. e5 attacking, bishop to g3, king to e7, g takes f6, g takes f6, rook h1. So in the future that maybe the bishop will go and then the rook to g7 will come, but rook here, the simple they are attacking here, bishop to h2, and this check is gonna come. So that's why she just made the move pawn to e4, which is a mistake in this position. She should go for the move simple rook takes c3, and it looks like, oh, he will attack to me. Check, no problem. King to e6, that's it. And for example, if there is a rook moves here which is attacking this both, so now in this question you can play the move e4, let the king bishop goes away, and then you can play the move with c2 capture also. And after the move takes, rook to a2 to defend, because now the e4 will come, and when the bishop will go away, this takes will happen. So simple, you can go for the move king moves to f7, which stops the move g7, rook to g7. This is the move if she should go for, but she just played the e4 move, rook to g7. So rook obviously comes, king to move here, bishop to, and now she takes. The difference between that move and this move is the rook is already on g7. So bishop to g4 check, pawn to f5, and here after the move bishop move back, bishop to a4, rook to a2. Now here again she got a chance to win the game. Maybe she got tired because it's a rapid, what happens like one after another, the match starts with a little bit of the time. Maybe she got tired, maybe, I'm not claiming that 100%, that's maybe. So the best move in this position which she missed, the move is pawn to d4. And after this one, if he captures, the best is rook to h3, attacking on the bishop as well as this one. And it looks like that, okay, if the bishop comes here, then the move will come to check. So it's really tough to handle for white. But after this move, she played the move rook 3 to c6. And now it's bishop to f4, and the game, of course, it goes long. This is check, b5, rook to h7, king to g8, king to f1, knight to d2 check, king move, knight to f3 check, bishop takes, e takes, but there's nothing happened. It's just a draw. It's just a draw. It's nothing, no result comes, just opposite color bishop is there. So if there is a rook and rook exchange, there's nothing gonna happen. And just the simple the game, of course they both played for a long. It's not like that they both give up easily, but opposite color bishop, so nothing can be possible. So nothing can be possible. But 99th move till they played, but I think like at least one move make and 100th move, but it's a dead draw. It's a dead draw. But well played, Tina. It's not like that she immediately, okay, draw, bye bye, have a good day. It's not like that. Okay, so final game, she was playing with the white pieces against Tushar Anand. D4, D5, the C4, E6. And one more thing you will observe that whatever she prepared, she's playing the same opening again and again. She prepared her Queen's Gambit move she has to play, and she's playing that one. Okay, it's not like that in the one game she played d4, another game she's playing e4 and doing the experimental stuff. So whatever she prepared from the home preparation, she just applying. So this is the one more good thing which you can learn, that stick with your preparation, stick with your plan. Knight to c3, knight to f6, d takes and e takes. See, the same opening she is playing. Bishop to g5, bishop to e7, pawn to e3, and over here her opponent castled bishop to d3, pawn to h6, bishop to f4. See, in the previous game, like bishop to f4 and bishop to d6, maybe like, of course she knows that h4 is the point. Like in the upcoming game I will play bishop to h4. No, whatever she prepared, that bishop to f4 I have to play, she is playing. Pawn to c6, knight to f3. In this position, maybe the move h3 is fine, but okay. I'm not judging to her, but h6 is like h3. I'm sorry, this which stops the bishop to g4. But okay, so bishop to g4, pawn to h3, bishop to e6. I think in this position, bishop takes is also fine, which looks, but bishop to e6, okay, makes sense. Castle, knight b to d7. Rook move here on a c1, rook to e8, bishop moves back. Again, the idea maybe she wants to play the move rook to d3 and exchange, not exchange, I mean h7 mate. So knight move, and again the point is what, when the queen will go to d5, we will just play the move d3. This square moves, I know, maybe I have to do something regarding that one. That simple, knight to g6 manaka, but she played the move first, knight to e5. So now if there is a knight to g6, so maybe I can go for an exchange after the move queen to d3. Bishop d6, bishop to g3, takes, d takes, attacking on the knight, remove the knight. So here she is successfully removed one of the defender of this h7 point. Okay, now this pawn is under attack, f4, and over here he played the move f5 here, but white has an advantage because now you can see that black's position is little bit, there's a locked up, but white, as you can see, that white can play the move rook to queen to f3, queen to h5. These moves can be possible, and this is what she played, queen to h5, just simple attacking. But the same thing, as you can see, that in the whites, for the white's king, black cannot do that. So black just go for the move b6, and she's like, okay, knight to d1, d4. Now, of course, it's not like that he don't know what is going on, but he's trying his best to do the moves. Bishop to f2. So, amazing move she found that, okay, maybe like it takes and everything. No. Bishop to f2. And if you will take, then I will take attacking on the queen, pawn to c5. Bishop takes f5. Finally, she got a pawn. Bishop takes, queen takes, knight to e6, queen to h5, again it's move back, takes, bishop takes. Of course, she cannot, I'm sorry, she cannot go for the move, the knight takes, because this pawn will fall. Knight to d4, maybe double attack. So, rook to f2, knight to f8, knight to c3. Now, why she played knight to c3? Because this rook is controlling, so no need to worry about it. And once again, as you can see, that black over here again is in that prime pressure that he just around of 2 minutes he had, and she has amazing 6 minutes. Okay, so she's like, okay, now you face your own problem, you do it. Okay, I will just play calmly, just made a logical moves rather than some kind of a sacrifice, searching for the truth. It's not like that one. Just comfortably I will just make my move and let's just see what you will do. Rook a to d8, knight to e4. Logical move. That why then she just wanted to place the knight on d6 and that's it. Knight moves back, f5, attacking on the knight. Knight to d4 again, pawn to f6. So calmly she just playing. Okay, no attack, no sacrifices or something to do. Just play the moves, and over here his opponent is just only 48 seconds he has. So rook to e6, f takes, king takes, check, and knight to f6. Rook takes f6 and e takes f6. So now how you will just stop this one. And after the move rook to a8, over here her opponent time is also up, and over here is simple. This is check, and this is checkmate. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment it out about this video and make a suggestion so that I can improve my videos for you. Thank you so much.